Good morning. I'm Charles Lejano. This is One News Now. Tropical depression Offal has made landfall over Can-Avid in eastern Samar early this morning. Tropical cyclone wind signal number 1 is now up in several areas, including the southern portion of Batangas and Quezon, as well as northern Samar, eastern Samar, Biliran, and the northern portion of Leyte. This means that houses made of very light materials risk being partially unroofed, but exposed communities will experience little to no damage because of the rain. Pag-asa also warned of heavy rainfall in parts of Luzon and Visayas. The red warning level is raised over Sorsogon and Masbate. Residents in these areas must be prepared to evacuate due to serious flooding. Meanwhile, the orange warning level is raised in northern Samar, Catanduanes, Camarines Norte, as flooding is a definite threat in these areas. And finally, Camarines Sur, Marinduque, and Romblon are now under yellow alert, which means they are advised to take precautionary measures for possible flooding. TB Offal was last spotted in the vicinity of Bobon, northern Samar, and will continue to move west-northwestward until it reaches the West Philippine Sea by tomorrow. Pag-asa forecasts that it will leave the Philippine area of responsibility by Friday afternoon. Those in Metro Manila, Aurora, Bataan, Pampanga, Bulacan, and the rest of Calabarzon will also experience light to moderate rain. Meanwhile, most of Mindanao will experience rainfall this time because of the southwest monsoon. The House of Representatives will resume budget deliberations today by virtue of the special session called by President Duterte. To give us the latest update from Congress, we have Ria Fernandez reporting live from the Batasang Pambansa in Quezon City. Good morning, Ria. So it seems that the dust has settled over there at the lower house.
Yes, Charles, it's business as usual here in the House of Representatives now that the leadership tussle is over. Lawmakers are resuming budget talks on the second day of special session today. Several agencies such as the Office of the Vice President, DOTr, COMELEC, and DENR are slated to defend their 2021 budget proposals. House Appropriations Chairperson Eric Yap says they are also committed to pass the 4.5 trillion peso national spending plan on second and third reading by Friday, October 16. Asked if there will be changes in the allocations under the new leadership, Yap says it is not in their hands to do so since it is the agencies that should initiate it. He adds that there is no such directive from the newly minted Speaker, Lord Alan Velasco. He also thinks that Davao City Representative Paulo Duterte, who was designated as Accounts Chairman, is not likely to tinker with the allocations. Yap says the presidential son was surprised to be given a new position following his resignation as Deputy Speaker. But he says Duterte is up for the challenge with 3,000 Congress staff looking up to him now. Aside from Duterte, the House also reinstated yesterday Congresswoman Helen Tan as Health Committee Chairperson. Tan was among the casualties at the speakership row that heated up the lower chamber the past weeks. Charles, meanwhile, Velasco ally Congressman Eric Yap says those who are allied with former Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano need not worry about their leadership posts. But if they cannot be supportive of the new administration, Martinez advises them to leave on their own. Yap. Charles?
Thanks for that, Ria. That was Ria Fernandez reporting live from the Batasan in Quezon City. A Manila court reversed its earlier ruling that granted political activist Reyna May Nasino a 3-day furlough. Her time out to grieve the death of her 3-month baby is now limited to 3 hours today, 3 hours on Friday for the burial. BJMP Manila City Jail female dormitory appealed 3-day furlough grant, invoking pandemic-related health risks and security concerns. Jail authorities claim that Nasino is a high-profile prisoner who should not be allowed to roam free. They initially wanted to give Nasino just 1 day to see her baby for the last time, but in the end, the court decided to give the bereaved mother a total of 6 hours to say her goodbyes. But Nasino's counsel believes she still enjoys the presumption of innocence, since she has yet to be convicted of any crime. We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The Transportation Department is implementing the one-seat apart policy in public transportation to increase passenger capacity. This after President Duterte and his cabinet approved the recommendations proposed by the Economic Development Cluster to help the economy recover. Let's get the latest on the ground with Greg Gregorio. He's joining us live from Quezon City. Greg, good morning. What's the latest on this?
Yes, Charles. Yesterday, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said the president has already approved the recommendation of the Economic Development Cluster to allow one seat apart among passengers in public transportation systems. And despite the previous opposition of cabinet members such as Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and Interior Secretary Eduardo Año, Roque said they arrived to a consensus this time around. Thus, Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade has ordered the immediate implementation of this one-seat apart measure. Transportation Assistant Secretary Goddess Libiran said jeepneys may now carry more passengers provided that they have plastic barriers installed between passengers or use UV light for frequent disinfection. The LTFRB will also issue a clarificatory memorandum circular to clarify the use of barriers in public vehicles. Meanwhile, standing passengers may also be allowed on buses, provided that each unit only carries around 50% capacity. Railway systems will also increase its current 30% passenger capacity to 50%. Libiran said these are all part of the agency's goal to increase passenger capacity across PUVs as we also gradually reopen the economy. However, this rule form part of what the DOTr calls as the 7 commandments, which includes the use of face mask and face shield, no talking or making phone calls, no eating while inside the PUV, keeping well ventilation, frequent disinfection, disallowing passengers with COVID-19 symptoms, and observance of the appropriate distancing. Charles, we've talked to a number of passengers and some said this would help minimize their waiting time for a ride each morning. But there are also those who are quite worried and still prefer the previous 1 meter social distancing rule. Since, as we all know, health experts say the bigger the distance between individuals translates to lesser chances of contracting the virus. Charles?
Well, keep that in mind as well as the 7 commandments. Thanks for that, Greg. That was Greg Gregorio reporting live from Quezon City. On now to sports, where last night a career-making game for PBA stars Ray Nambatak and Ray Parks Jr. happened as they respectively led Rain or Shine and TNT to victory. In Game 1, Nambatak hit a massive triple with just 12 seconds left to pull the plug on a late-game San Miguel rally. That was Nambatak's lone field goal after missing his first 6 attempts. But it was all Rain or Shine needed to start their bubble campaign with a win at 87-83. Other noteworthy heroes for the Elasto Painters include JV Mocon and Chris Rosales, combined for 40 points, along with Bo Belga, who contributed 12 of his own, and Gabe Norwood, who grabbed 11 rebounds on the way to victory. In the second game, it was Ray Parks Jr. who exploded to give the Tropang Giga a 112-101 victory against Terra Firma. Parks scored a career-high 40 points and 11 boards, while Troy Rosario added 20 markers and 15 rebounds to secure the win. It was hot shooting all night for TNT, who made 17 from behind the arc. Parks sank 7 of those trays on top of sinking 13 of 18 field goal attempts in his first game of the season. Now, our favorite basketball league has returned. Catch the PBA Bubble Games live on TV5 every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and on One Sports and on PBA Rush daily. Games are also seen via Facebook and YouTube live stream, Radyo 5, and Signal Play. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. And you can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.